We've also seen a big growth in people's resistance. We've had spontaneous people's movement, popular struggles that emerged. You had organized struggles that took place. And in these spontaneous and organized struggles, the anti-CAA, NPR, NRC, that struggle all across the country, the way it has spread, and it was actually an inspiring thing to see the youngsters, our youth, born post 2000, on one hand holding the national flag, in the other hand holding the constitutional preamble, and saying that we will defend our constitution, we will defend our republic. Now these sort of popular struggles have grown, and this would have even grown further, but for the outbreak of the pandemic. But that's a different matter. But then you had during these 4 years, every year, the working class, along with all the sections of the working people, going on all India strikes against this entire loot of our national assets, reckless privatization, the attacks on the rights of the working class, the abrogation of the labor laws and the new labor codes that have come. On all these issues, these struggles have been going on, and they're continuing even today in many of the public sector units that are being privatized. The banks, the insurance sector, the railways, everywhere resistance is brewing, is growing. Now, but the highlight of this period has also been the historic farmer struggle. A struggle that lasted for more than 1 year, which finally made the obstinate Prime Minister Modi to retract and withdraw and repeal these agri laws. But he is not meeting the other assurances as given on the minimum support price, or withdrawal of the cases against them, or compensation for more than 700 farmers who died in this struggle. But that apart, these struggles show that popular resistance today, popular people's resistance today, people's struggles, is the way forward that we will have to strengthen in order to meet the challenges that this period is being thrown up with this government, the BJP and the RSS.
അതോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ ഈ പിന്നിട്ട വർഷങ്ങളുടെ മറ്റൊരു സവിശേഷത, ഇത്തരത്തിലുള്ള ആക്രമണോത്സുകത മുന്നോട്ട് കൊണ്ടുപോകുന്ന ഘട്ടത്തിലും ശക്തമായ ജനകീയ പ്രതിരോധങ്ങൾക്ക് രാജ്യം സാക്ഷ്യം വഹിച്ചുമുള്ളതാണ്. ചിലത് സ്വാഭാവികമായും പെട്ടെന്ന് ഉയർന്നു വരുന്ന പ്രശ്നങ്ങളെ അടിസ്ഥാനപ്പെടുത്തിയിട്ടുള്ളതും മറ്റു ചിലത് സംഘടിതമായി തന്നെ ആസൂത്രണം ചെയ്തവയുമാണ്.
Drive for strengthening its hegemony by US imperialism is mounting its aggressiveness all across the world. Interventions in Latin America, the intensification of blockade, economic blockade of socialist Cuba, declaring Cuba and DPRK, North Korea, as states sponsoring terrorism, and the interventions that are continuing in the Middle East, Central Asia, in various countries. I mean, all these continue, but at the same time, what is happening in Ukraine also must be seen in this, as a part of this whole effort by US imperialism. Yes, a Russian invasion is not the answer to this, and that must immediately end. That must immediately end. But then why did the situation reach up to this stage? That has to be resolved as well. So right now, the talks are going on. UN General Assembly is involved. So let us see, and we hope that immediately these hostilities or this war, ends, and a proper agreement is adhered to, an agreement which imperialism negated from the day when the Soviet Union disintegrated. At that time, the promise given to Gorbachev, of all people, was that there will be no eastward expansion of NATO. But then, since then, USA has today admitted everybody except Ukraine. I don't know if any other smaller country is left behind, but all major countries except Ukraine are members of the NATO. 175,000 NATO troops are today on Russia's borders, and their missile systems, everything ready. They'll reach Moscow in 50 minutes, so Russia claims. Reach Leningrad in 5 minutes, so Russia claims. So these are set of security perception that Russia feels. So this is something that has been built up, and also in Russia, with the with the Putin administration, which has gone back to Russian chauvinism, arguing that Ukraine was always part of Russia. It was only the Bolsheviks who gave Ukraine an independent status. He calls it that was the Lenin's mistake, giving them independent status, otherwise Ukraine is part of Russia. And with that Russian chauvinism, that nationalistic chauvinism, Putin, is proceeding. And therefore, on this basis, the focus is on developing the independent strength of our party and our political intervention capacities. On that basis, move towards strengthening the unity of the left forces. And this will have to be done, both our independent strength and the unity of the left forces, through launching people's struggles, class struggles and popular struggles, and in intervening in all spontaneous responses that may emerge in the future. Through this, to strengthen not only ourselves but also the unity of the left forces. And on that basis, to marshal all the democratic forces along with the left and move towards the left and democratic alternative with alternative policies challenging the bourgeois landlord ruling classes policies as the alternative for the people and for the country. And it is on this basis we'll have to move towards isolating the BJP, strengthening ourselves, and on that basis, with an alternative left and democratic program, to take up the challenge whenever elections comes to defeat the BJP. So isolation and defeating BJP means this: our work independently to strengthen ourselves, strengthen the campaigns, political, ideological, cultural and organizationally meet the challenge of the RSS BJP, strengthen ourselves, strengthen left unity, consolidate left and democratic forces, pose the alternative policies as the alternative to the ruling class policies, and on that basis strengthen popular struggles, class struggles, and move forward. And whenever election comes, to adopt tactics which will maximize the pooling of anti-BJP votes so that we can defeat the BJP. That is the direction in which we have to move forward. To isolate BJP does not only mean electorally to isolate them. Isolation cannot happen only through elections. The isolation has to happen on the basis of a consistent and a very strong political, ideological, organizational and cultural campaigns against the Hindutva agenda. And this has to be strengthened by the party. And if this has to be strengthened by the party, like for instance the promotion of irrationality and unreason, obscurantism, backwardness, which is all part of the BJP's, of the Hindutva agenda, or the entire social order based on the Manusmriti, or the status of women, the way they want to reduce it to. All these are part of the Hindutva agenda, and these will have to be met with ideologically and defeated. Today they are promoting in the new education policy completely a license to replace Indian history with Hindu mythology, to replace Indian philosophy with Hindu theology. And this is the entire objective that they are going ahead with. This has to be challenged in the cultural field, in all these fields. So but this requires that we must independently increase our independent strength and political intervention capacities at the all India level. And this is the foremost task. If we have to isolate the BJP, our strength must be increased much more than what it is today, and that is the focus that the party must undertake.